Thank you for joining us today at Homestead for Life. Today we are going to do something a little bit different. So this year we got our first harvest of passion fruits. So really excited about this. It finally happened. I planted these from seed probably about three and a half years ago, and they didn't even sprout for 6 months. So it took us a long time to get a decent harvest. And we probably harvested about 20 of them, and then a couple of them we missed because they fall on the ground underneath this large vining monstrosity and they hide in the leaves, and then by the time you see them, they're all shriveled and they look like this. So these cannot use, but we'll harvest the seeds out of these and plant more vines because I've got plenty more fence line for those. But these are our passion fruits that we are going to use. So I've already scooped out several of them, most of them in fact. So I left these couple just so you could see what they look like. To get the fruit, you're just going to cut them in half and you're going to scoop out that goop on the inside. All the yellow and the seeds. You don't really want the pink stuff. It's edible, it's just not terribly tasty. We have learned that these are quite a bit more citrusy tasting than expected. I'm not sure what I expected passion fruit to taste like, but that wasn't it. But they're pretty good. So we're going to add these last couple to my ground up, pureed pile here. Seeds and all, so the seeds are edible, they're a little crunchy, which is why we're blending them all up real good. And this recipe that I'm using, I'll link in the comments below. It is not my recipe. Google found it for me. This is my first time testing it, so we'll see how it goes. And I had to adjust it a little bit because I was just a little bit shy on the amount of passion fruit I have. So we'll blend this up and get going. First, we're going to preheat our oven to 350 degrees now that we've got all of our ingredients assembled. Then we are going to prep our dish. So this is a 9x9 baking dish lined with tin foil like it says and sprayed with cooking spray. So we have that. We're going to set that aside. Now we're going to mix our first set of ingredients. We're going to make the crust first. So we are going to whisk together the melted butter. So we've got, in our adjusted recipe, about 5.3 ounces of melted butter. I was a little amazed by the amount of sugar and stuff in this recipe, but it is a dessert, so I guess it should be expected. Butter, sugar. We have a 1/3 cup of sugar. And then we are going to mix in our vanilla and our salt. So salt, about a 1/3 teaspoon. So we'll do a heaping 1/4 teaspoon because that's what I've got to measure with. And then 1 1/3 teaspoon of vanilla. So we'll do the same there. 1 and a heaping 1/4. Overflowing 1/4. And we're going to mix all those together, and then we will stir in our flour with a spatula. Alright, so those look pretty well mixed. And we're going to add in 1 1/3 cups of flour. And we're gonna press this in once it's all mixed up well. We're gonna press this into the bottom of our baking dish. And the recipe says that it might look a little greasy. It's normal, don't worry about it. So now that our crust is pressed in the bottom, we're gonna put it in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes until it's a nice golden brown. And in the meantime, we're gonna mix up the filling. Okay, so we're gonna work on our filling, and then as soon as the crust is ready, we're gonna just slide it out a little bit, pour it on top, and put it back in and reduce the temperature of the oven. So we have 5 1/3 eggs. So that was not an exact science, of course, so I picked 2 smaller eggs and did 6 eggs. So cutting down recipes with eggs is always fun, right? Now we've got our passion fruit puree. Of course, if you're not growing passion fruit, you can buy puree from the store, turns out. Never knew it, never knew to look for it, had no idea. But the recipe says that you can buy a pouch of Goya brand passion fruit. So, good to know. And because I was a little short on the amount of passion fruit I had, I have enough after I adjusted the recipe, but I don't want to lose any to being stuck to the dishes. So 1 cup of passion fruit puree, which is about 20 passion fruits. And we're gonna blend that together, and then, with the sugar, sorry. So 1.5 cups of sugar. We're gonna blend that together, and then we're gonna sift the flour on top. All right, so then we're gonna sift our flour on top. And mix this all up together, and then as soon as our crust is ready, this all gets poured on top. So I will see you then. All right, it's been 25 minutes. Our crust is golden brown, so we are gonna pour our filling on top. Drop the temperature down to 325. And put it in for another 25 minutes. It's been 25 more minutes, so we are going to test it and see if it's done. And to test it, you take it out and you jiggle it, and if the middle doesn't jiggle very much, then it's done. And just sliding it, jiggle the whole darn thing. Not done. So we're gonna put it back in for 10 more minutes because that jiggled a lot. We are at 45 minutes for the second round timer on the filling. And minimal jiggle. So we are gonna let it cool on this rack until it is room temperature. And then we get to test it. Our passion fruit bars have cooled a bit. They're still a little bit warmer than room temperature, but I am not that patient and I want to try this. So before serving, you're supposed to sprinkle with powdered sugar. So sprinkling, not very evenly. We're gonna spread with powdered sugar. I'm not good at the sprinkling. Probably should have used a little sifter. And we're gonna try it. Now, to make the cuts, to take this out and cut it nicely, what you would do is you would lift it out with a tin foil after you've refrigerated the whole thing and it's nice and cold, and then you would cut it. But, big bite. We just wanna try it. And it's pretty good. The passion fruit is not as strong. It smelled a lot stronger before I made it, but it tastes like pretty much any other fruit bar. So enjoy. Thanks for watching.